but we'll record it anyway. All right. So tonight's call, we're going to focus on a few things. We're going to focus on reaching out to people who like your posts. We're going to talk a little bit about happy birthdays. I know that sounds weird. Working Facebook and really working your power hours. So that's sort of the framework of like the things that we're going to be talking about. So I was going to start with, the easiest part, and Katie and Meg and Mariah, I'm going to have you guys, and Rachel, I see you're on here too. I'm going to have you guys just like help out. Can you hold on one second? So sorry, I got to just mute this conversation. It keeps popping up and it's distracting. All right, muting. Sorry, guys. Okay, so I'm going to have, the other leaders that are on this call with me also help out with this. I'm going to take my hair down because it's pulling me. It hurts. All right, so first what we're going to talk about is working Facebook. And really, the past week or so of this group, we've really talked about, figuring out what your brand is, figuring out what you're posting about. And that's kind of cool because it coincided with, having a guest speaker on Monday, Jamie, and she started talking all about that stuff, like how to be consistent on social media and figuring out your brand and figuring out how to talk to. So it was such a good thing that we had that because it went right along with what you guys are actually being trained on right now. So you've already figured out, your why for doing this business. You've figured out why you want to do it, and what you could have by doing this, and your story. And that's a good thing because now like how you can post about your story. So the next step is really, we've talked about your brand as well. So who is that person that you're speaking to? And I loved on the call on Monday night when Jamie said, everything that you put out there should have some sort of value to it because you never know who you're touching at that moment or who you're speaking to at that moment that needs you at that moment. And so being sure that you're not just putting fluff out there and you're not just posting just to like throw a post up, but you're actually putting stuff out there that's going to be something that could help somebody else. And that doesn't mean that it always has to be super serious. You can put things up that are going to build, your likes on your page and build your edge rank and that sort of thing. Like I think, if you look at my post tonight, you'll see that I asked people, where they get their bathing suits because I have a trip coming up and Victoria's Secret no longer does bathing suits. So where do you get your bathing suits? And people love giving their opinion. They really, really love it. So, the comments just keep coming. People just keep commenting on it. And a few days ago, I did a post on my hair color. And I know Katie does this a lot as well. But people want to give you an answer like, oh, I like you with dark hair. Oh, I like you with blonde hair. Oh, I like you with this. And make it really easy for them by being like A or B, One of the posts that I do a lot is like when I'm leaving to go out, I'll try on a shoe on each foot and I'll say, which one? And I've already left the house and I'm, on my way and I look down at my post and I have like 80, recommendations. I'm like, oh, good, thanks. I went with the right one at least, but that's one way that you can really build up a lot of likes and a lot of comments and things like that on your on your page. And then once you've done that, that's when it's a good opportunity. So those are like your jab posts, right? They're entertaining. And then once you do that, it's a good time to put up something that's considered more of like a hook post, which is something that may have a call to action at the end of it. Or maybe it's something that's just a little bit more serious. Maybe it's you starting to breadcrumb out your story. And I know that, we had you write out your story. And we did that because some of your posts, you guys, should really be about, like, not some of, like, I'm going to just mute everybody real quick because I don't know who's loud, but I'm really loud. All right, muting all. Better? You guys hear me? Cool. Okay. So you can unmute yourselves and stop and talk at any time too, you guys. Like, this isn't a call where we all have to be on mute. Like, if you want to talk, just jump in and interrupt me. But breadcrumbing out your story. Do you guys know what that means? Katie and Kat, I know you do. Newbies, do you know? Yes. Awesome. Okay. It's taking those bits and pieces. It's breaking it down. It's like if I took a peek at your story and I read through the whole thing, I bet you that I could highlight one sentence in that entire story and say, "Can you write me another, 200 words on just this?" And I bet you could. And then I could probably highlight something in there and have you do the same, and highlight something in the next one and have you do the same, because we all have little pieces of our stories that we can talk about. You want to know who taught me that? It's really funny. I was in a politics class in college, and it was called Ideas and Ideologies. And so we were learning all about the isms: socialism, communism, capitalism, commercialism, all this stuff, right? So, and we were supposed to be reading through it and kind of breaking it down into ideas. And I kept like skipping class and not showing up because I hated it and I thought it was boring. And so my professor was like, "Can you do me a favor?" He goes, "Can you write me, George, can you write me a paper on," he was licking his butt. "Can you write me a paper on your childhood?" And so I did. And then I brought it in. He was like, "Can you write me a paper on this? Can you write me a paper on this?" And that's how we did it. So I know that there is always the ability in you to go ahead and dig a little deeper and dig a little deeper and dig a little deeper and get into the nitty gritty details. And the reason I want you to do that is because those little details are your posts. Oh, I remember this moment, or, "Oh, I remember this moment," like growing up, or, "Have you ever had this happen?" I think, just check on it. It could stay on longer. So that way, those little things that might be quirky or weird or little like things that happen to you end up being something that really resonates with somebody else. So those are your posts about your story. You take those little pieces and you breadcrumb it out there for people. So you're posting fun posts to get more engagement. You're posting about your story so people know you, trust you, like you, resonate you, relate with you. And then, you're throwing up a hook post every once in a while that's, inviting them to a challenge group, inviting them to a sneak peek. But even within those, you want to talk a little bit about, what you're doing and dig a little deeper there. Don't make it an ad. Here's another tip for you. When you're creating those posts, make sure to read it out loud. And I say that because if you read it out loud, sometimes you're going to hear that you sound like an infomercial. Have you ever felt like blah, 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 right? Or like, if you've experienced this, then when you take the you out of it and start talking about yourself. Okay, if you looked at that post and you turned it around and you put all the words as I, me, etc., then it's you telling a story about yourself, not you talking at somebody. And then you can add your call to action and have it be something along the lines of like, I don't know if anybody can relate to me, but if you can, like, join me. I'd love to like do this together. Something of that nature, right? But if you're like you, it sounds like you're talking at somebody, you're trying to sell to somebody, and it sounds quite frankly like, you think you're better than, right?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. I like getting Ryan just to say yes. All right. So, yeah. So, did you see that, Katie? There's a cat on the call, and not with a K. Kitty. All right. So, what else? Working Facebook. Okay. So you know what to post. We've talked about your brand. We've talked about your story. We've talked about your why. We're talking about breadcrumbing. We're talking about posting in a way that's sharing your story and not talking at people. So you also want to be working Facebook. And what that means is that you want to be adding friends to your social media every single day. Every single day. Put a goal of how many people you want to add to your network every day, and you don't go to bed before you've added that many people. So if your goal is to add 5 friends a day, that doesn't mean you sent out 5 requests. That means 5 people accepted your request and are now on your friends list, right? And so sometimes it takes a little more than 5. My goal is 10. And sometimes it takes a lot more than inviting 10 people. And that's okay. Throughout the next day, sometimes some of them like start accepting, right? But you always want to make that your goal. And so you're adding to your list. You're watching your friends list grow. You're breadcrumbing your story. Your people are actually like listening and reading and looking and learning things about you. The new people you have are going to come on there and start seeing that stuff. You're going to start liking their stuff. You're going to start commenting on their stuff. And then eventually what happens is you put up one of those hook posts and one of those new people that you friended feels like they know you because of the posts that you put up, and then you can talk to them and invite them to your challenge group. One of the easiest ways to do this, there's 2 different ways you can do this. You can go and you can friend people by using the suggested friends, or once somebody accepts you, go and look at their friends list and start friending people that you have mutual friends in common with. And I know that we talked about this on last week's call, so I'm not going to go into too much detail. You guys can figure out how to friend people. But once you friend them, what I would love for you to do is you can do the get notifications thing. And I don't know if it's still called that. Is it called that still? Or is it just follow and then see first?
It's follow. There's see first, and then it's relationship, basically acquaintance, get notifications. You can put them in a group. But yeah, it has you get notifications.
I think from your phone, it's only like follow, unfollow. But if you're on your computer, if you're on your computer, you can choose to do like, you know, get notifications and all that good stuff. But it has to be from your computer, I think. Or like
I think it might be just like follow and then like see first or something like that. So like meaning they'll always put them in your news feed. So you can do that.
You're limited on see first though.
So you can do that. Or you can go ahead and add them to a friend list. So what that means is that through Facebook, and let me just see, maybe I've got my Facebook up and I can share this with you real quick. Hold on. I got to exit full screen in order to see. Hold on. Exit full screen. Come over here. Get rid of you. Get rid of you. Get rid of you. Okay. Let me share my screen. Okay, people can see my screen? Cool. So I'm just going to use like, for instance, I'll probably just use somebody I know. So like, let's just say Katie Reserve. I can come over here and I can look at Katie and I can do, let's see here. Actually, I think I have to come over here. Click onto her. I can poke you. I'm going to poke you. I just poke Katie. Okay, so see where it says we're friends on this drop down. I can say get notifications. What that's going to do is that's going to send me a notification anytime Katie posts. Now, I love Katie, but I don't want to be messaged every time Katie posts. So I'm not going to click that. But I could also do this thing where I add to another list. Now, when you click in this, you guys can create a new list, or you can add, that sounds like it. Or you can add to one that you've already created. So like, as you can see here, she's added to my teammates. So what I've done is I've actually created a list that's just like the people on this team. So if I want to go over and kind of just like love on everybody's posts and like, you know, give them some padding and things of that nature, I can just pull up that list and I can go through and I can see what everybody on this team is kind of posting about and give them some love. The other thing you can do is if it's like brand new people, maybe you put March 2017 ads, right? Like people I've added in March 2017. So then instead of getting notifications, to build your relationship with them, you're going to click on March 2017, your friends list, and you're going to go through there and you're going to like and comment on their stuff and just set like a little bit of time each day to do that. Literally like 10 minutes, go through there. And that way you're building that affinity ranking between you guys. So that's part of the way that we work Facebook is by getting notifications, creating lists, and really, you know, friending people and building our audience. The other thing that you can do is birthdays. So everybody knows you get the whole like happy birthday announcements, right? Like everybody whose birthday it is on Facebook that day. Instead of just being the normal person that just goes over there and writes like happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday, you can still write that on their wall, but click on it, open it up, and start a conversation. Happy birthday, girly. Like, hope you have an awesome day. Any special plans? ? Easy as that, right? Conversation started. And then you want to be starting at least 5 new conversations a day. And you want to be able, you want the rest of your time is spent like following up, responding to messages from people in your inbox and all that sort of thing. You guys can download the Power Hour trackers that are either in the file section of Team Project Fearless, or you can download them off of the teamprojectfearless.com website. Or you could ask your coach, hey, where do I find this? I know Joan mentioned this. Where's the tracker? But you can do those sorts of things, or you can use Teamsy, or you can use a piece of paper. I don't care how you do it, but you should be tracking who you're talking to and who you need to follow up with every single day. Who wants to talk about reaching out to people who like your posts? Because my mouth hurts. Ready, Katie? Go.
That was coming. So reaching out to people who like your posts. So when I post, another thing I try to do is I try to think of something beforehand, like in my content of the post, so that I can reach out to them about, instead of just putting up a picture of, me and my husband or something, kind of wording it so that when I do go to reach out to all those people who liked it, I'll have something to kind of ask them a question about, whether it be, I saw you, thanks for the love of my post last weekend about me and my husband going to see Beauty and the Beast. We loved the movie. Are you going to go see it? Or something like that. You know what I mean? Like putting something in your post so that when you do go out to reach out to them the next day, that you have something to ask them a question about or to connect on. So that's what I do and again, if you're following the rule of posting 3 to 5 times a day, I try to post, a few times a day about my brand. So those job posts that we've talked about, and then a post or 2 a day about either my workout or my nutrition or coaching, or a hook post or something like that. And so when I sit down and do my Power Hour, I look at the previous day, 3 to 5 posts, and I list them all out. So I write a header of, okay, this is my job post about me and Brandon, or whatever the post was. And then I write down all the names of everybody who liked it, just like it says in the Power Hour tracker. And then I reach out to every single person that likes it. Again, kind of saying, hey lady, thanks for the love on my post last night, and try to relate something back to them or ask them a question to really get that conversation going. And so really that's what I do when I reach out to people. Or if they like something about my challenge group or a fitness post, those ones I am a little bit more direct about. Hey girl, thanks for the love of my challenge group post. I'm so excited. Are you interested in joining my next group? So that one I quickly get my invite out, because they were already loving on a fitness post or a challenge group post related. So I just jump into those ones. But my jobs, I really try to form that relationship by reaching out to them and connecting with them for a while before I ever bring up Beachbody or send them an invite.
Cool. Meg, how do you know when it's time how do you know when it's okay or when it's time to start bringing up Beachbody or coaching or goals or things like that? How do you get them to that point in the conversation where you can start talking about that stuff? If it's somebody that either liked a post that was non-related to Beachbody, or you start a conversation with somebody not related to Beachbody, and actually start with that. How do you start conversations with people randomly that haven't liked your post, those 5 new people a day?
So 5 new people a day, so who have never liked my post. Typically I'll go on their wall and I'll kind of scroll through the last kind of posts that they've made. Maybe they posted about their dog. Maybe they posted about going to a new restaurant or going out to eat or having a date night. And I can ask them questions about that, what kind of dog do you have? Like, how long have you had him? What do you like to do with your dog? How is that new restaurant? I saw that it was open the other day. Like, how was it? Any types of things to kind of start that conversation that you can relate to. Because ideally, going back to what Joan had said before, with friending new people, you're kind of friending people that you can see yourself being friends with. You know, that if you think about your brand and the 5 things you're going to be posting about every day, when you go to friend somebody, you ideally like want them on your team. So you've already kind of established that you have a connection in some way. So then just kind of scrolling through, going back to the happy birthday messages, that's always a good starting point as well. And with people liking my post, I usually, with food related stuff that's healthy and workouts, I usually try to phrase like a question at the very end saying, are you on a health and fitness journey of your own? Because that kind of leads it right into a coaching kind of conversation, or like a health and fitness type of conversation. So those are the 2 things that I always ask that question, even if it's somebody brand new that liked a post of mine. Let's see. What else? Oh, and just talking about, like, I always try to ask a question at the end. So spring is coming. Like, what are you excited for this spring? Like, what are you most looking forward to? I know it's been cold, but, you know, are you going hiking with the dogs? Like, are you going on vacation? Asking questions like this, I can easily then plug in once they ask me what I'm doing. Oh, I'm going on vacation on this date, like I'm starting a new health and fitness challenge group next Monday, and I can, like, following the conversation template basically and doing those plugins there. And then with coaching, did you want me to talk about that? Like, one to plug in with coaching? Yeah. So typically I kind of pinpoint in my challenge group, like, who's showing up every day, and I try to, like, plant the seeds with them privately. You know, you're killing it, like, you're doing awesome. Have you ever considered coaching in what I do? Because you're pretty much doing that right now. And then encouraging them to then post, you know, their workout, or, you know, recommending a personal development book for them if they're interested, and trying to get them to post about that. If it's somebody who's not signed up yet, then typically, you know, if they start giving me the money excuse, then I can plug in and say, you know, have you ever considered coaching? Like, I can help you help others, and you can make some extra money, and, you know, I'll help you through that. So it kind of, and again, I think in the file section of Project Fearless, it kind of goes through that. Coaching objections and money objections. So it kind of gives you, definitely go check that out, because I have those saved in my Evernote at this point. And every time somebody gives me all those different objections, I just go there, copy and paste, tweak it a little, and send it. And it works. It gets people thinking, for sure.
Awesome. Does anybody have any questions so far on anything we've said? And there's literally like 5 of us on here, so don't be afraid. Scream out. No? Okay.
I think something that I have a question about is a lot of the people who like my posts are people who I know and have relationships with. And so on those jab posts, I guess I just don't know how to, like, because I already talked to them outside of Facebook.
Well,
so I just feel kind of awkward.
Yeah. I mean, if it's somebody you talk to all the time, it's like, hey, what's up? How are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, you can, at that point, you can throw some of the scripts out the window, because you don't have to make it awkward and, like, follow a template. It's just talking. So talking in a way where you can lead the conversation in a direction where they could potentially be interested in joining a challenge group, or they are working on health and fitness goals because they mentioned something to you about it. You could bring that back up, but you don't have to follow the template.
Yeah.
Specifically.
And I mean, honestly, I would just say, like, if it's somebody you really know well, just be like, hey, proud of you. I'm doing this awesome freaking group. You want to do it with me?
Okay.
May or may not be interested, but on April 3rd, I am starting a health and fitness challenge group. We're going to go over, you know,
like,
focus
literally
on just, that's it.
That easy. And then
so you can kind of just like skip, not necessarily skip the like conversation, but you can just like get to the invite more directly.
Yeah, I mean, if it's something like,
you already have the relationship built.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, like, I wouldn't waste, like, I would, like, the reason why, yeah, exactly. The reason why you're asking questions like that and stuff is because you don't know somebody and you're building a relationship with them to get to a point where you can invite them. But if it's like your best friend, you're like, hey, you know, I'm doing this workout right now and I'm in a challenge group, like, and having so much fun. Like, if you consider joining it with me, really that easy. Or like, dude, do this with me. Half the coaches on this team were on the team because somebody just told them to do it, you know?
Right.
Like, I mean, really. All right, so let's chat a little bit about
accurate.
Now let's chat a little bit about following up. So like if you're talking with somebody and the conversation kind of dies out or ends, or like, you know, they're like, oh, I'm running off to do whatever, and you never really got to talking about challenge groups or talking about coaching or talking about health and fitness goals or those sorts of things, how do you follow up with those people?
So those types of follow-ups, and I'm just going to say this right now, I am notoriously awful at follow-ups, but I have gotten much better because I'm using Teamsy, and I was using, you know, the notebooks and writing lists and keeping power hour trackers, and that was working to a certain point, but I wasn't putting reminders in my notebooks. I wasn't putting reminders on certain dates to follow up with certain people that I had conversations with. So what I will say is the beautiful thing about Teamsy is it makes things just as easy as following a conversation template, because it gives you templates of what to say to follow up with to rekindle that conversation. So like follow up 1, and this is maybe they tuned into a sneak peek, or you had a conversation about a challenge pack, you know, hi Jane, just checking in like I promised I would. What questions do you have for me? Something like that. So it gives you these listed items. So Joan said, you know, what if the conversation had died out? What do you say to kind of rekindle that follow-up? You know, you could say something like, hey, I just noticed this trip you were going on. How's that going? You doing anything to get ready for it? You know, I'm going on a trip to Punta Cana in April, and we have a great challenge group going on right now. Interested in joining? Do you have any fitness goals prior to leaving on that trip? Something like that, depending on what you notice on their wall. I would just take a look at what they're doing in their life and relate that back to what you're doing in your life and why you're keeping healthy and fit, and kind of tie those two things together and then pose a question at the end of the conversation. You always want to pose a question. So, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, now, if it's somebody that you were talking to and you legitimately already started talking about the challenge group and then it dropped off, or you talked about their goals and they, you know, you got to a question that they never answered, you know, or if it was talking about, you know, you sent them videos or something you never heard back or something like that to check out like 2 programs that they like. Kat, how do you talk to them? How do you follow up with them?
So it really depends on like where the conversation was at and what I would say. But like for someone that I sent videos to, for example, and they, you know, well, first of all, when you're sending videos, I always set up an expectation of when they're going to watch the videos, because if you send a video to somebody and you just send it, then you are going to be in this predicament where you're like, did she watch it yet? When's she going to watch it? You know, did she watch it right now, or is she going to watch it in 2 days? Like, so I always set the expectation on when they watched it. So if I set an expectation, I know someone's going to bed and they're watching the videos the next day and then they never follow up with me, I'll ask a very specific question. And, you know, sometimes like when you suggest 2 programs, like you already have it in your head which one will be the best for them. So I might say something like, hey girl, did you check out those 2 videos? I have one in my head that I know you will absolutely rock. I'm wondering if it's the same one that you just fell in love with, you know, or something like that, to get them thinking about it again, to get them, you know, to answer you, but it's a question. If someone just kind of goes ghost, because this happens a lot, and you follow up with them and ask them those questions and, you know, maybe they don't answer you, one thing to remember is that people have lives, you know, things pop up. Pay attention to their Facebook feeds, because it might be something to where, you know, some things could come up with their family. You know, we all have things that come up in life and party. But one way is I always try to interact with them on Facebook. So like if I've asked someone a question and they haven't answered me, and I've put their name in my planner, and in this case, teamsy to follow up with, and they still don't answer me, I will either get on their page and start liking and commenting on things so that they're kind of like, oh shoot, like I never talked to that cat girl, like, whatever. Or, Chris Reed, and I pass this one to Joan, and I think that like it's something that will stick with me forever, but ask them the question like, hey girl, I hope I didn't say something to upset you, but I was just following up with you on, blah, 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 blah. And people hate to think that you're thinking that they're mad at you. So 9 times out of the 10, they're going to be like, oh my God, no, you didn't upset me, and they're going to come right back and start talking to you again. So those are just a few tips that I have. What else did you say, John?
How do you follow up with people?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much that. When you're already in the conversation about Beachbody, I'm just asking them a question pertaining to what we were talking about. With the videos, that was my suggestion. If they're just completely not answering you, that's my other suggestion. In general, I think Ryan and Meg covered it with going to people's pages and then just trying to interact with them that way and asking specific questions with always ending with a question, because that's the only way you're going to get a response.
So when following up too, like you don't need to restart a conversation with them. That's kind of what I was getting at. You just need to, jump right in where you left off. So if it was the last time you talked to them, you sent them videos, you say, hey girl, had a chance to check out those videos yet? Which one are you leaning towards? They're only 2 minutes long, and then they'll get back to you. Or if it's somebody who you're talking to and the last thing you said was asking them a question about one of their goals and they never got back to you on that, following up and saying, hey lady, not sure you saw my last message. I wanted to follow up with you. I know we were chatting about X, Y, and Z. How much weight did you want to lose? Or whatever that last question was, like reiterate it. If it was somebody who you had invited to a challenge group and they never got back to you, you can write back and just say like, hey lady, are you still interested in that challenge group? I'd love to have you in there. What are your health and fitness goals? So just jumping right back in where you left off, you don't have to make this whole other conversation or talk to them about something on their page or do something like that. You jump right back in where you were. I think that was pretty much everything I wanted to cover on today. Oh, and just like I loved that Meg just brought up the combo template and the objections. Was there a follow-up one in there? I don't know if there is, but I do know that we did a call on follow-ups one time. I'm not sure which one that is.
Follow-up specific template of like what to say after you've initiated a conversation and it's gone.
So maybe
that'd be a good thing.
Maybe that's something we should add, but
could be a good thing for the leaders to do.
But make sure that you're checking out your resources. In fact, Kat did a great call on finding your resources and using your resources. And it's in our, under YouTube, under my YouTube channel. So you can go in there and do that too. But really, we have so much stuff at your fingertips to like help you out with all of these things, including, this group, including the Find, Share, Invite group, like the team call, all the archive team calls, all the files and the pages that we have. Like there's so much stuff there for you, that just forge ahead. And when you hit something that you're like, oh crap, I don't know where to go next with this, like ask your coach or go and search out the answer. Because there is so much of that there for you. Any questions? I'm sorry, I'm shoving my face full of chicken and Brussels sprouts right now because I'm starving.
I'm waiting so I don't look like a gluttonous pig on the video.
I just don't care. Vanessa's eating and cooking. She gets me. See?
All right. I'm going to dig into this chicken and Brussels sprouts.
All right. That's it. Any other questions, guys? You sure? You good? How's the group going so far? Everybody caught up on all their assignments and stuff?
Kayla, I saw yours and I saw the couple people post their brand and their audience, their target audience.
Alrighty, guys. Thank you for showing up. I will put this up in the group as soon as I get it uploaded. Oh, and P.S. If you're not in Success Club yet and you're all like stressed about it, don't stress about it. There's still plenty of time. I had 6 points yesterday. I ended the night with 12. So that was 6 points in one day. So if I can do 6 points in one day, you can do 5 points in how long?
7 days.
7 days, right? And if you're posting consistently, if you're adding to your friends list, if you're starting new conversations, and you're following up with people, and you guys aren't signing anybody, it's your conversations. I promise you, it's your conversations. So have your coach look at them or literally follow that conversation template to a freaking T. Katie, tell them real quick. I know I just said we were getting off, but Katie, tell them real quick about how we were on the plane and we were like, went over to Evernote and copied and pasted something and like what happened?
Yeah, so we were literally following the conversation template, and it was the new part too at the end that was about the all access pass, and I hadn't really used that a ton, so I was like, oh, let me go just copy and paste it from the conversation template in the team page. And so I was copying and pasting, and I almost copied and pasted where it says, and if they say what's the difference, and I was like, oh crap, I gotta delete that. So I deleted it and I pressed enter. And she literally responded back and she's like, what's the difference? I was like, wow.
Word for word. And also we were sitting at Union one night and she was bugging out going, oh my God, like I love it when the conversation template's like exactly how it's supposed to be. She said this, I say this. That was literally an exact impression of what Katie did that night.
Yeah.
So the reason I point that out, and weirdly the two situations were both Katie, is that, you know, Katie is a successful coach on this team. She is a 2-star diamond coach who's kicking butt, team leader status, going to like, you know, get to 5-star and elite and whatever and beyond this year. I told her she should go 10-star because she's got like the bones to do it. But guys, she still uses the template, right? So that is my point to you. Is if you are struggling with signing coaches, use the mother effing template. I can't drill it in your heads enough. I had a coach yesterday that I was just talking to who, you know, last month had 16 Success Club points on the board, and this month she has 0. And I was like, what is happening? Are you reaching out? Yeah. I'm like, are you posting? Yeah. I looked at her posts. Her posts have like 60 plus likes on all of them, which was way more than she was getting last month. I'm like, so what exactly is happening? And she's like, I don't know. I think that blah, 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 blah. And I was like, all right, let's look at your conversations. And she had stopped using the template and she had reverted back to like what she was doing in the beginning, which was barfing Beachbody all over people, talking about price when they don't ask about it, you know, sharing like what she's doing and telling them that they should be doing the same thing instead of asking questions about what they're doing. You know, I mean, I could go on and on and on and on, and our next call is going to be all about conversations. I can guarantee you that. But, you know, using the template, she goes, oh, she's like, oh my God. Literally, like, this was her response. She's like, I'm such an idiot. She's like, okay, I know what I'm doing. Yep, gonna use the template, going back. I'll be in Success Club. And so, you know, it's it really is. It's that easy. And, you know, and once you start doing that, I mean, Ryan and Kat on here both, you know, literally I had to rein them in too. They talked a lot. Like Kat's great to have in a situation where like you are at a table of people and you feel a little friggin' awkward because you don't know anybody, because she never shuts up. So it's never silent. So you can just sit back and drink your wine and chill until you're good and ready.
It's hard to breathe because she uses up all the oxygen.
She always brings me to like awkward dinner parties.
Best person to bring.
This is our friend Kat.
And then this person over here, this guy and her, literally, like, I'm so mean to them at times because I'm like, can you shut up? Like, you two are legitimately just talking to talk right now. Like, you just repeated what she said, and now you're saying
that trash can was really interesting looking, Joan.
Around Joan, nobody would think that I talk a lot.
Around Joan, Kat, and Ryan, you'd think I was a mute. So anyway, my point being is to rein that in, they used the conversation template. Meg, I know in the beginning you and I always like worked on our conversations together. I like ghosted them for you in the beginning, and now you use the template and you turn around and you have your coaches use the template. So it's what works, guys. So I know I just like beat a friggin' dead horse, but like seriously, I'll throw the horse down and start beating again. Use the conversation template. It's
in the objections file.
In the objections
all
file.
of them. Copy paste.
Also, before we jump off, I know that you pointed it out the other day, so thank you for reminding me of that. I totally forgot that it's something I do, and that's something that's important is duplication in this business, but like sometimes you forget things that you do because you do them so often that you just figure everybody knows. But the text replacement option on your phone is ingenious. It is ingenious. Do you guys know what that is? Okay, so you guys are going to be like, I'm so glad that she didn't end the call and she told me this because now my life has changed forever. Mind blown, right?
Mind's about to get
so go to this. Does everybody have an iPhone? I mean, if you don't, like, you can still probably do it. In fact, I know you can. Trinity said you could. She has something. So Kat will get you instructions, Jessica. But the other people who are all iPhone people like me, go to your settings. Okay, go click on settings right now. I know you all got your phones in your friggin' hand. Go to settings, go to general, and then I want you to go to keyboard. Y'all with me? Okay, now text replacement. Okay, so see that little plus sign at the top, the little addition sign, right? So what I want you to do is I want you to, your homework tonight is to go to that mother effing conversation template.
You said mother effing like 5 times.
I know. And I want you to take it and put it in your phone. Okay? So let me give you an example. I have the Beachbody disclaimer on my phone. So if you look really close right there, it says disclaimer, right? When I start typing disclaimer, like if I'm in Facebook Messenger and I start typing disclaimer, it pops up as one of my options. So I can choose the word disclaimer, or I can hit that and it's going to put that whole little 2-3 sentence paragraph there for me.
Text stacking.
I also have CG. What does that stand for? Challenge group. So when I type in CG into a conversation because somebody just asked me what a challenge group is, it's going to pop up the whole phrase. So let me just show you this. So now that I put those all in there, watch. Where you guys can see this. We gotta get rid of this. There we go. All right. Follow me, Many Penny. Oh, look at Georgie puppy. He's a little wet nugget of love. All right. This is going to the Kat, Ryan, Carl conversation because it's just up and that's easy. So right here, you see, okay? I'm going to type in CG. Now watch what happens. So see how I have now the option, it says CG or it says something doing and then question mark, right? So if I click on that, it just filled it with that entire paragraph and I hit send. And all because I typed CG, that's all I typed in there, it says, so it's a group that's all about accountability, motivation, and support. It takes place on an app where we have you track your workouts. You can even track your measurements and weight and progress pics, etc. You're able to share as much or as little as you would like with me or the group. We have daily posts in there for you. Like we share recipes, meal plans, prep tips, fit tips, do fun challenges, share sweaty selfies, etc. It's really fun and a great way to stay accountable this time of year when everyone wants to get fit and healthy. What are your current goals? Because I typed in CG, that all popped up, right? Time saver. And I don't have to go and look at the template somewhere else. I can just literally do that. Guess what else I put in the text replacement, you guys? I put in, Kat, another one's coming at you, Hut. I put in.
Carl's answering your questions.
Get fit and healthy, duh. Literally, he's answering me. I go, thumbs up, Carl. And then, so then let's say he chose the 21-day fix, right? But he goes, so how much is it? So now I can type in T21, and then I'll type in DAY, and guess what just popped up? I have the 21-day over there, or I can hit this. When I hit this, I'm going to send it. And I've got this whole paragraph that tells them everything that comes with the 21-day fix and then the money that it costs at the bottom. Right? Mind blown. You no longer have to go and look in Evernote or go and look in your notes section or go and look at whatever. You can save it right there. So those things that you know that you say all the freaking time and you're looking up, or the things that you say all the time and you're like, oh, I've got to type this all out right now. You don't have to. You can do that. So now, everybody tell me how you have no time to work this business when all you have to do is type CG and it's going to give that. You could be standing at the checkout line at the grocery store. CG, send, boom, take your credit card out, swipe, blah, 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 blah. They're already answering you what their goals are.
Bathroom at work.
Right? So, they don't pay me the big bucks for nothing, guys.
Oh, God. Help us.
All right. Conversation template. Objections. Put them in your text replacement. But also, you guys save those somewhere easy to get to anyway. Like,
Evernote
because
mobile app.
Because I put it in Evernote so that when I'm at a computer, I don't have to go and like pick up my phone and like do that. Like I can just literally copy it. I have Evernote open, like my conversation template, my scripts, everything open, and I'll just go and copy and paste real quick while I'm on my computer. That's really super easy. But when you're on the go, this is the easiest. One more tip. When you are following up with everybody who liked your post, you can say the same thing to every single person. So do not reinvent the wheel. Copy and paste. Copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste. So somebody liked a picture of your dog. Oh my God, I saw you liked the picture of Georgie today. He was so freaking cute doing his little rolling over thing with me during my workout. Wasn't that hysterical? That worked out, kicked both our butts. How are you doing? And then copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste to every single person who liked it. And I don't respond to them until they start talking back, like until I'm done, right? Now I'm done going through everybody who liked my post from the day. Now I can go back and talk to those people who responded to me and dig in and have conversations with them. That all make sense? We good? All right, cool. We'll talk more about conversations. We'll talk more about following up. We'll talk more about like the ins and outs of things next conversation. This next week is going to focus on, what is this next week focus on in the Find Share Invite group? I don't even know. I created the template and I still don't even know. I'm pretty sure it's going to be all about helping you guys with your posting and making your posting better and like making your call to actions and all that stuff better. I'm pretty sure that's what it's about. And then
next CTA and a hook. I'm doing something on Saturday.
Yeah, and then the last week of this is all about conversations, follow-ups, and we will run a live sneak peek for you guys so that you can invite people to it, so that you can not just sign discount coaches or customers, but so you can find actual building coaches too, because the end goal is to help you get to Diamond through what you've learned in this group and help you make Success Club this month with what you've learned in this group. And then, of course, after you go Diamond, you want to go Team Leader and 2-star and all that stuff. So that's ahead. But all right, questions? Anything? Good? Awesome. Love you guys. I'll put the recording up soon. Have an awesome night. I know we almost ended that call like 15 times and we didn't, but we really are this time. Okay. Bye.
Peace.